Welcome to Insight with Moonshadow. I'm Moonshadow. I'm an integrative holistic therapist, as well as a chi evangelist and an overall truth seeker and free spirit. Our topic today is about the power of intention. Now, the power of intention, the definition of intention is something that you plan or you want to achieve, an aim or a purpose. And so I'm going to start with the intention of saying thank you so much for all of you to come and join the conversation and join Insight with Moonshadow. I absolutely appreciate it and very grateful. Now, we all have intentions, to be healthier, to be a better person, to go back to school, get a degree, be a better parent, mother, brother, father, sister. But how strong is your intention? Do you set yourself up to succeed, or do you set yourself up to fail? The power of and strength and conviction of your intention can make or break your goal at the end of the day. So, at this point, I've used the power of intention in the 30 plus years I've been doing my inner work, and even before then, I started very young. However, there are so many different ways that you can set your intention. Now, if you have if anyone has any questions or any experiences they want to share, I open and welcome you to come into the conversation and to share your experience with intention, experiences where you may have faltered and got your groove back, so to speak, or something to that degree. Now, when should you set an intention? I look at setting an intention of doing it every day. I use it as very much as a ritualistic way, no different than having your cup of coffee in the morning or making dinner for your family. I appreciate that. Catherine. So now, in setting intention, it's something where the stronger you feel about it, the better it is. And that's really, really important with it. Because if you're kind of wishy-washy or flip-floppy with it, then the universe doesn't know what to give you, because it's very literal. The law of attraction and all of these other philosophies. Am I echoing? Let me try to mute and unmute. So is that better? Awesome. All right. Okay. Welcome everyone that has come in the room. Okay, now Catherine has a question here. Would intention be the same as purposeful action? In other words, not doing activity, just do things, but with meaning and a purpose behind them. Absolutely. That's really important, because how many times do we, December 31st, we're in the moment and we think, you know what, I've got my New Year's resolution. I'm going to drop a few pounds. I'm going to work out more often. I'm going to eat better, or I'm going to be, less stressed this year. Something, But unfortunately, these resolutions fall short because I don't feel that we have the power of intention behind it. We don't focus on the intention behind it. So this is why, welcome Pamela, welcome Cindy, and I am so happy that you guys are here to join the conversation. But this is important. So when we go, well, it's true, it's the big why. But unfortunately, in a lot of ways, we tend to have lofty goals. For example, I intend to have $1 million in 5 minutes. Now, That is possible. I'm not going to say that it's not going to be possible. And I love that intention. But is it probable in 5 minutes? It's going to be, you know, pretty intense if it did happen. But in working with smaller goals, tangible goals, when you use your power of intention, you are able to really get through what you need and how to get there. Start small, you know? So, for example, if you want to work on being healthier, good health. That's a good start. You look at the optimal steps to being healthier. Maybe you're eating too much junk food, or maybe you're eating too many processed foods from the grocery store. Maybe you're not cooking as much as you used to. So all these little tiny steps, but intentional steps, purposeful steps, and even I'll be even using the word passionate steps. That is key. That's so important. And us just in health food, just health alone and processed food. In the world, there's a whole lot more processed food than organic, and it tends to be very expensive to eat organic food. So that could stop you from intention. That could stop you from wanting to do the right thing or do something better or work on yourself in a better way. Stress with a job. That could get in the way. Now, Aliman is got a question here. Are some of our intentions, are they unconscious, and what role does the unconscious intentions play? They do all the time. They are constantly working. Our subconscious is very much like a glacier. It's like an iceberg. You have, and here's a perfect example. I'll use my Herkimer crystal as a visual tool. So let's just say, for example, that this here is who we are. Okay. Now this tip right here up on the tip, that's our conscious mind. But look what's underneath. We have all this untapped potential that we don't work with. And see, this is the issue here, is that if we tapped into more of our intention, our passion, our resilience, our wanting, our purpose to really get there, it's going to be 10 times, 100 times more impactful. So this is also a big, huge part of how the power of intention works. Here's a few, there's a few steps. There's a few steps that we could use to get into a few tidbits or moon bites, if you will. Setting an intention every day, making it your intention, making it regular every day. You brush your teeth, you have your intentions shown. That's a really big, important part. Get specific. Don't go too lofty. Break it down in some steps. That's very important as well. So if you break it down to smaller steps, you're going to be more successful, and you're going to find those milestones. And when you find those milestones and you gain momentum with it, then all of a sudden you feel more confident. You're happier. You're making it happen. You're letting manifestation happen in a better or quicker or more efficient way. So that's really, really key too. Write it down. Writing it down is key as well. Post-it notes. I'm a big fan of post-it notes. If I really want to work with affirmations or intention or a goal, if I really want to work on it and it's really hardcore, I use post-it notes. Post notes doesn't affect anything, doesn't damage anything. But you know what? Post notes, you write down your affirmation, you write down your intention, and you pop it on the bathroom mirror. You pop it next to your bed. You can pop it on a lamp, all of that. And it's really, really important. Now, okay, when I take vitamins or something, I try to intend that they will do my body good better than just taking them and not thinking. Exactly. Now, being intentional with things makes the difference. You are almost, you are empowering whatever you do tenfold, 100-fold. It's exponential. So if you're doing it mindlessly without thinking, like let's focus on like eating for a second, the intention of eating. You're just eating in front of the television and you're just going ahead and you're just shoveling that food into your mouth while you're watching TV mindlessly. You can eat literally for an hour, straight up an hour, and not even realize that you ate 3 bowls of food or 3 plates of food, you know? However, if you're mindful of it, if you are tasting the food, you're savoring the food, you've put mindful intention in making the food or cooking the food. Now you're eating it, you're savoring it, you're tasting it, you're really involved and mindful of it. You're not going to be as hungry. You're going to finish everything. Welcome, Christina. You're going to be able to work with intention and be more efficient in how you do it. And it's not something where you have to be OCD about it. It's just kind of bringing it back in. It's like reining in the monkey mind, as the Buddhists say. It's just reining it in, you know? Okay, also too, Cindy is saying, I also take out a portion rather than take a bag of whatever with me. It helps me be aware and stop eating. And that's also key. Like, I don't know how many people can do this, but let's just say we open up a bag of potato chips. How many people in the room can actually take 3 potato chips out and put away the bag? Now, hit me with a 1 if you could do that. Hit me with a 2 if you can't. Oh, there you go. So now, if you really, really think about it, how difficult is it? Well, I'm sorry, Catherine. um, but true. It's very, very difficult. And Pringles do rock, I gotta say. But it's very, very difficult to be intentional about saying, you know what, I'm only going to have a few potato chips and I'm going to put it away. Now, this is key. This is just the tip of the iceberg when you're looking at intention. I'm one. I know I'm one of the few people that can literally. I could take 3. I could take 3 chips out of a bag, and I purposely don't buy chips often. I only buy them when I'm truly craving them, just because. Again, the intention of eating better food and trying to put in better food into my body. But I will purposely. I may go visit the bag a couple of times. Sure, absolutely. But being intentional and having the will and the motivation and the passion to be able to say, okay, you know what? I really want chips, but I'm not going to outdo or get past the motivation I've done to work out today or that kind of thing, you know? So that's important. The power of intention is really the motivator or the engine that kind of drives you to stop doing things that are against you as opposed to for you or best for you. So writing it down, that was key. Writing it down, post-it notes, reminding yourself. It is. And Catherine, you're right. Intention could work better with connection to accountability. Now, also, the next tip, make time. Make time for your intention. Make time for your goal. Don't make a goal and then don't think about it for a month. Focus on the goal. If you go ahead and you know what, Aliman, you are correct. Catherine, you are correct as well. That is also one of the tips as well, is having a partner, having a buddy, having somebody that will help you maintain your intention. friendly reminders. They don't have to be like Jillian Michaels and kick your ass when you haven't gone to work out or something, or you haven't done your work, or you haven't worked on your business plan, or anything like that. Okay, we have someone coming in. Okay, Gus. Welcome, Gus.
Something to add, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Well, basically, not too long ago, I was actually, and I saw the title of this, blab, and it said "The Power of Our Intentions." And then I remembered this podcast I was listening to, and it was basically about, the key word for this podcast was expectations, but it was all about intentions because it was about how our expectations of people will change our intentions and how we go about our lives. And really, it wasn't about you. It was kind of about a blind man who was completely blind, absolutely, no sight whatsoever. But his mother, didn't ever expect less from him because of it. So then, her intentions were very, very, like any other mothers would be towards their son. And he's actually, sort of popular in America, at least, because he would ride bikes and climb trees and just live his life as a normal person, um, even though he was completely blind. And this led to him really encouraging other kids to who are also completely blind to just kind of explore their lives. And and he uses the climbing the tree method as really just kind of, there was this kid and he really he didn't want to try climb the tree because his parents just kept him locked away, so he wouldn't get hurt. And then, Daniel, the man who was blind, just made him, he literally forced him to climb the tree. And then when he did, he realized that he could just go on about his life, even though he was blind. And that was just, I think that had to do a lot with, I guess, you know what this blab is about, because really, I think that the your power of your intentions go hand in hand with the power of your expectations.
Absolutely. That is a really a wonderful story as well, because let's think about this for a second. The intention. If the mother's intention was, I hope that my son can just not bump into a wall. Granted, that's a good intention, and I'm not here to judge anyone's intention or anyone's motivation. However, I have to applaud this particular mother because she saw beyond her son's abilities or challenges and said, sight is only one aspect of who you are. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
And that's really, really important.
Yeah, and the most shocking part was that he did add that there was this period where he was actually going down a hill and he hit a lamppost and completely broke his jaw, his nose, and just had to get reconstructive surgery. And then he said that as soon as he recovered, he just went on about his life, and his mother just treated it as if, okay, you got injured, you recovered, and now you keep living. And so I guess that really made me think, because you got to put things into perspective, and it made me think of me personally. What would have I had done? I really want to say I would have been so courageous to let my son or daughter, uh, live their life as free human beings, as if they weren't even blind. But
Right.
I can't say I would, because I mean, I guess that's just part of like the fear, right? And I think we all have fear, especially if you see that your kid just broke his entire face. But you
And if
know,
you're a parent too, if you're a
correct,
parent, you could
correct.
say, I want my child to be better than me.
Yep,
Uh, but then they skin their knee. They're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" You know what
correct.
I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
there's that
it's
maternal or
completely, I
paternal aspect.
think it's all about, I mean, the experience, and it's just about completely, um, you know, letting go. And my mom didn't do that to me until I swear she did not do that to me until I was about 18. And I think that hindered me a lot because there was just a lot of things that I didn't feel were possible or in the range of of things I could do. And then I see other kids that were so much less fortunate. No, no, not the without the advantages that I had, and they're just
Right.
doing much better than me. So it's yeah,
Well, there's also a big part of it too. It's the intention. I'm sure her intentions were valid or good. She wanted to protect you.
correct,
Now, that's fantastic that she wanted to protect you, but in a way, she also she threw a limitation in the way, which was unfortunate.
right,
You notice that a lot of times the people out there that are more free thinkers, they kind of become their independent selves because they've pushed the envelope. They've tried things they wouldn't have normally tried.
correct.
They Fear is less of a motivator, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
So with you, your mother was just being protective. She was like, I don't want my little Gussie to get hurt.
yep,
I don't want, whatever, and that's the thing. So now, that being said, yeah, she could have said, you should try it. You should do it. Hey mom, I want to do this. Or I want to try out for football, or I want to try this, or you should try it. Why not? You know? And again, no fault of your mom. Your
right.
mom just she just didn't want you to be unsafe.
Right. And last thing, I'll just add so I can let you continue. She
Sure.
actually, this is a woman. She actually, after she graduated, she spent about a year and a half doing some type of community, some type of aid work in like Southern Africa, in South Africa. And then, so I was thinking, uh, what is, I mean, you would think that parents like these are the type of parents who would just cut you loose from the beginning. But
Mm,
I I think, in this case it wasn't. And I think to a certain extent, you can't live with regrets, but I guess I wish you would. But now in about 2 months, I'm leaving for Uruguay to do some like volunteer work. So
that
she's
is
very happy
fantastic.
about that. And she wanted to come too, and I said, no, you gotta stay. I gotta do this on my own. So,
Good for you.
yeah.
And I've been to South Africa, and I've seen there's certain things you can't unsee, and I've seen a lot of the hardship and the challenges that people suffer there.
Right.
So I give you and your mom a lot of credit, and props to be able to do such good work. And again, it's the power of intention. This is
Correct.
something you don't have to do this.
No,
You
you
don't
don't.
have to do it.
Mhm.
You want to. And I have to applaud you for that, because you're using your power of intention to say, you know what? I want to help other people. I want to continue the legacy that my mother, even though she wanted you to be safe, you want to continue the legacy by doing good work. And you're doing,
Correct.
and from what I'm getting intuitively, you're doing this not to get a Pulitzer, not to get a big prize, not to get a trophy. You're doing this because you just want to be in good service with people. And I have to
Right.
commend you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. If a Nobel Peace Prize comes, I'm not complaining, but
You'll
I,
accept it. I'd accept it too.
yeah, I would. I would. But, I'll work to it. Anyways, it was nice talking to you and continue. I would keep watching.
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. Thank you so much for,
Pleasure.
for coming in, popping into a seat, Gus.
You too.
So now, also another question we had here: have I ever explored fasting? Now, yes, fasting is also a good way of empowering your intention as well. Sometimes in focusing, like drinking a lot of water, for example. I remember I unintentionally, mindlessly, I started drinking at one point in time, going back many, many years ago. I started drinking soda, a lot of Coca-Cola, right? And I was drinking the soda, and then I wasn't drinking a lot, but I was drinking enough where it was, maybe 2 or 3 glasses a day. Now, it went ahead and accumulated, and I gained like 10, 15 pounds just from drinking soda. When I was drinking water, religiously, I was drinking water all the time. If I was thirsty, it was water. So what ended up happening was I then connected with my intention, with my power intention. And I said, okay, you know, I haven't changed any of how I work out or what I eat. What's the common denominator? It was soda. So I focused on that and I stopped drinking soda again and started drinking water again. And then I lost the weight. It was that easy, that quick. So the level of the power of your intention, the intensity of your intention, the follow through of your intention is going to be so important for you to be able to get through your goal. Do a little something every day towards your intention, you know. Now again, when you're writing down, you want to make time for it. That's another tip. Make time for your intention. You brush your teeth, you know, you go to the bathroom, you're cooking dinner for your family, you're going out and get the mail, you're doing errands. Work on your intention. Build your intention. Now also too, and we had touched the topic a bit as well, is do not let your inner critic, which this was a topic of one of my last shows, do not let the inner critic stop you. You are accountable for your intention. So when that inner critic or that naysayer comes in and says, "Oh, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to get to the gym 3 times this week. You're not going to be able to lose 10 pounds. You're not going to be able to get your business plan started." Don't entertain it. Put it aside because it's not going to help you, your intention, your momentum for you to move forward. It's not going to help you one bit. Exactly. And if you think, and Catherine just said, your thoughts rule your actions. Let's just think for a moment. Your brain is very much like your CPU, your operating system. Your body is only going to follow suit. So if you feel that you're not worth it, then your body's going to do something to react towards it. It's going to follow along with what your brain is telling you. So if you feel you're not good enough, your body's going to look like it's not good enough to you, and it's going to propel or manifest itself potentially in a physical way. So now looking at that, you know, silencing the inner critic, telling that negative part of your brain, you know, it's not important. I am going to do this. So you may not work out maybe 3 times that week. But if you work out one, that's a start. You've done something. You made it in a bite-sized piece. And it's true. The power of the subconscious, if you can tap into the subconscious, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Welcome, blessings. Now, also, too, we touched base on this as well. Getting a partner, making yourself accountable, having an affirmation partner, having an intention partner, having an intention buddy. Say, you know what? Can you give me a call? You know, I want to make sure I work out twice this week, or I want to make sure I get my business plan going, or, you know, I need to finish reading up on 3 articles on, you know, SEO or building my brand or something. Invite someone that you trust, someone that you know that has your back to remind you. Not necessarily be cruel, you know what I mean? Just to remind you. Someone to make a phone call. Someone to give you a buzz every now and then to say, hey, you know, Catherine, have you worked in your business plan today? I just wanted to call you up and remind you. So how you doing? How's that going on? How's that coming along? Having like a personal trainer. It's almost like having a personal trainer of your intention. Because also there's strength in numbers. Right. Well, yeah, they can get pretty militant, but someone that is coinciding or helpful, someone that is nurturing with it. That's also key too. You don't want to be yelled at. You know, again, it's not like, you know, having someone that's like, it's like boot camp where someone's like yelling at you to get your intention done. That's not going to help you either. That's almost like having a second inner critic. It's an outer critic. So yeah, so Evan is saying here that intention is the trigger, is the trigger all things. Okay, we do just make personal law that you invest your intention in the good things, and that's cool. The accountability also provides fuel for growth, and then guilt also gets in the way. And I agree with that, Catherine, completely. So get a partner, silence your inner critic, make time, write it down. All these things, you know, you would think that it sounds so simple, and I'm making it sound so simple, right? And it sounds so easy. It's like, oh yeah, to lose weight, you just gotta work out and eat right. It's that simple. Why aren't you doing it? You know, it's not that simple. That's where intention kicks in. That's where the power of intention is important. If you build on it, if you work on taking a forward step, you're not stepping backwards, you're stepping forwards. You're always stepping forwards, whether it's 1 step, 2 steps, 4 steps. That is the important part of it. Right. It's a simple theory. It's incredibly simple. It's almost downright crazy how simple it is. But an application is the hard part. The application is always the hard part. Exactly. Exactly. It's the application. So I can know something in theory. And most of us, really, if you think about it, all of us in this room know. We know what we're supposed to do. Deep down inside, we know what we're supposed to do. We know the right way of doing things. We know that we're supposed to do certain things. We know we're supposed to, uh, working on things. We know how we're supposed to do it. We just don't. We get in our own way. And that will probably end up being a topic as well with insight with myself with Moonshadow, because getting out of your own way is also really, really important. And we're building all these topics. We're building a better person. We're building ourselves to be better, to be more efficient. Not efficient in a antiseptic way, efficient in a body, mind, and spirit centered kind of way. You know, like Catherine's saying, I know what to do, what I'm supposed to do, but I tend to do nothing instead. Welcome to my world. Sometimes that happens too. I'm not always as forthright and willful as I am right now. you know, and also meditation. A lot of times too, meditation or working with intention is focus. If you just focus on those things, sometimes just a little bit of focus is going to intensify your intention. It's going to intensify the want of that goal. It's going to intensify other things. I was giving some good advice to a dear friend of mine, and they were in a difficult situation, and they did not necessarily want to hear what I had to say. And I didn't judge. I said, look, if this, A, B, and C happens, I can almost guarantee your life is going to change. And they were like, nope, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you know what? It did. Their life changed. Why? Intention. They finally put the power of intention. They finally put in that motivation to say something has to get done. Something has to change. And they made the change. They made the decision. The power of intention, a lot of it starts off with a decision. When you make the right decision to put more emphasis, more energy into improving yourself, then or working on a goal, then it's gonna happen. Now I'm getting here. Tina's saying most people don't know that being really, really busy is a form of laziness. It is. It is being lazy in a way, because they are distracting themselves from what they really need to do. And that's true. Some people are busy because it's a nervousness. It's not really necessarily that they're getting things done. Not everyone does that. Some people are motivated and they're very busy and they get things done. But it's not always the ending to a goal. Intention is. Focus is. Passion is. Those things will push you to get there. And that is like so important. Let's see if we have any other tips here. Oh, and also too, also part of getting to a goal with the power of intention is also be still and live in it. Live in your intention. Live in the goal a little bit. Realize what it feels like, what it smells like, what it looks like, what it breathes like. So if you want to be more fit, feel what it feels, feel what it's like to be more fit. See yourself more fit. Flesh it out. Look at it. Really build on this motivation. Because if you do it that way, then you're going to find that you're going to get better and better and better. It doesn't have to, you don't have to build Rome in a day, because Rome wasn't built in a day. But focus little by little by little. Every forward step is a step towards intention. And the more power you put towards it, the more intensity you put towards it, the more passion you put towards it. Now, isn't it funny? I'm going to pick you, this is a little bit of a moon bite here, a provocation, if you will. Do you notice that when there's an argument going on, and I'm just saying you as understood, not anyone specifically, when you think you're right about something, do you notice that your power of intention goes up about 200%? Think about it. All of a sudden, it's huge. It's like, no, you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong. All of a sudden, you are like Hercules. You are like, you are massive, unwavering, Now, just imagine if we utilize that same intention, that same energy towards something for the good, or for the positive. Just imagine where that goes. Hey, Lance, welcome. Where's it going to go? Now, couldn't you go further with a larger tank of gas in your vehicle? So wouldn't it be the same thing with your intention? Always nice to see you, Lance. And you're right, beliefs can be dangerous. So it's something you have to really take a look at and know what your belief system is, and if it's for the good. And I don't mean for the good of everyone. I'm just saying with good intention, with good energy, something that's not ego driven. That would be important. Now, evangelist is also saying not knowing of the external leads to unfortunate errors. Yes. And think about it. When you're going around the corner, you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what's on the other side of the door. And I get you. And I understand that. And it's true. The unknown could be scary. The unknown, it's going to bring you a whole different list of possible things. It's going to bring up the inner critic. It's going to make you not want to make the time. It's going to make you not want to do it because life is in the way. But if you really think about it, that could also be an adventure. Part of what I've studied throughout the years was in shamanism was not just the traditional shamanism, but also Hawaiian shamanism. And the Hawaiian shamanism, or Huna, is the adventurer, as opposed to traditional shamanism is the warrior. Now, with Hawaiian shamanism, it's the adventurer. It's about what can we learn from this? It's different. It's a different mindset. So now it's the same way of looking on the other side of the door. The other side of the door, it could be, someone offering you a big prize. Exactly. It all bases on perspective. And Tina, you're absolutely right. So if you always got to think, if your intention is nothing ever works out, then guess what? You've lost. You've already lost. Your intention is you're going to lose. And that's pretty much probably what you're going to do. However, well, I mean, as in a general sense. But if you focus right, exactly, and you're right either way. And Catherine's saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you are right, and you're right. And again, it's the power of intention. It's the power of your motivation. It's the power of what drives you, what pushes you, what makes you go, what makes it happen. You know, I've worked with challenged, and I don't use the word disabled. I don't use the word disabled. I use the word challenged, because challenged people is different. We all have challenges. Some people can't see. Some people can't walk. Let me unmute. Let me mute and unmute. Okay, is that better? Hey, Monty. Is that better? No. Oh, let me unmute and do that again. I'd hate to read. Okay, how's that? Is that better? Please say yes. Please say yes. Oh, damn. Okay. We're going to, hey, Pamela.
I'll hold the fort for you until you get back.
Okay, thank you. Let me,
hello, everyone.
This is Pamela. Okay, now, let me see if I could even do that. Okay, I can. All right, super. Let me refresh real quick, and I'll be right back. Go figure. It's like the last 10 minutes, and it's got to get all weird. I'll be right back.
Okay. How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Great. Yes, it is.
Fantastic. Okay.
Go back in the.
Thanks, Pamela. So now, getting back to that. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, guys. Now, ultimately, if you think about, it is about perception, and that makes a huge difference, for sure. If you're focusing on that the momentum, and then it's going to get better. And acting on that purpose is going to work out better. Make it not just in your mind, but make it part of your body. Make it part of your spiritual movement. Make it part of your ritual. And if you do that, then you're going to find that things are going to become. You may not climb Mount Everest or be able to do the marathon the first time. You may have to build on that, but you're building on it. That's the important part. You keep on moving forward. There's no stepping back. There's no reverse engineering or reverse thinking or letting your inner critic tell you that you can't do it. It's all about building. And the little bits do add up to big things. And Catherine, you are absolutely correct. So now, if there's anybody would like to pop into the seat, say hello, share an experience of what they've had to do with the power of intention. And we have Christina coming in.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Christina. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to share a story that I heard from somewhere a while ago. And it's about making sure that whatever you believe, because beliefs can be very dangerous. You have people that have lost their lives over things that they believe that really only exist in here. They don't really spew out into anybody else's reality. But there was a story that I heard about this couple that was married, and they were making a roast. And the husband was in charge of making the roast because the wife usually did it. And so when it was all said and done, the wife was like, well, why didn't you cut the ends off? So the husband was like, well, why would I do that? it's nothing wrong with it. Why would I do that? And she was like, well, I don't know. Let's ask my mom. So he really wanted to know. So he called his mother-in-law and said, hey, small talk. I just want to know, why did you cut the ends off the rose? Like, I want to know why this happens. And then so the mom thought about it for a second, and she said, you know what? My mom always did it. So the only way we would find out is to call her. So fortunately, the grandmother was still alive. So they called the grandmother and, skip the small talk at this point. He really wanted to know, why was this done? And so he asked her, Nana, why is it that you cut the ends off the rose? So she paused for a second. She was like, my pot was always too small. So all of these years, they had been wasting, things that they could have been using because of not getting a clear understanding of why it was even being done. And we do that a lot. We run on that feed automatically, i.e. the subconscious mind. We tend to, over and over, we're programmed for certain things. Like I was on here last night listening to a, what is it called? A hypnotist. And it was a guy that came in and he was saying that he doesn't actively do it anymore because he just found a passion in something else, which is nothing wrong with that. I do believe that you can have more than one passion at different stages of life. And so he basically said that, well, I'm going to ask you to do it. Can you say the alphabet right now as fast as you can in 15 seconds? Go ahead and say that.
The alphabet?
Yes. No, like just say them really fast.
Probably not.
Well, just you can say it. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, we get the gist of that. Okay, so the guy who he was speaking to said it really fast. And then so he said, now that is the subconscious. That is something that is ingrained into you.
Right.
Like you don't have to think about it. You run on that automatically. Like driving. Driving is a subconscious thing. But when you have to follow directions and you need to make a left turn here, stop at a red light, that's not subconscious, that's conscious. You have to consciously put your foot on the brakes, And then so he said, now I want you to say the alphabet again as fast as you can, but only every fifth letter, which requires.
Now you got conscious thought. There you go.
Exactly. Right? But the whole thing about having a more synergistic life or a more wholesome life, you have to embody everything. It's not just mind. It's not just body. It's everything incorporated as one. Similar to scissors. You would think that the most important part of scissors would be the blade, but actually
the handle.
Not just the handle. There's a screw in the middle that holds everything.
Screw, the scissors don't hold anything.
So it's all about, like you said, it's all about perspective. And the more small steps you take, things will become easier. Because life really doesn't change. Your ability to effectively deal with things that come up change. And i.e. perspective.
That's
you
true.
Look at things from a different, from someone else's eyes. And it would just make life a lot easier. Not easy, but a lot easier if we would just think about, like, for instance, when I'm driving on the road and someone kind of cuts in front of me, I say to myself, well, maybe their kid has epilepsy. Maybe they waste coffee on themselves. Maybe I don't just automatically think that they just want to be a prick to me and get over in front of me. There is thousands, millions of things that could be happening in that person's life. They could be having a seizure.
You're being more mindful. And that's key. And that's the important part, is you are being more mindful. The secret to all of this, and it's not a big secret, I think we all know it, is making the subconscious conscious, making the mindful.
That's right.
Making the mindless mindful. So if you're more mindful of yourself, if you're mindful of other people, then guess what? You are going to be better.
You are. You are. And you can tell also by how people respond to you. People generally respond a lot better to a person that, because I guess you could say you could kind of tell, like, when you're dealing with people, they can kind of tell that I'm looking at them intensely and I'm trying to figure out where they're coming from. Well, me being an empath, I'm just throw that out there too. That helps out a lot. Me being able to feel the energy that's coming from that person and the space that they're coming from, that helps out a lot. But these are things that, I don't know, it's just deeply ingrained in us. And like you said, you have to make the part that you're not thinking about. You have to consciously think about it. That's just like perfect example. From ages birth to 5, before you actually go to school, and everything that you do, you think this is how the whole, until you go to school. I'm getting feedback, guys. So you go to
Okay, someone
school,
probably has a tab
and then
open.
and then you see another kid, and you're like, wow, well, why are they doing that like that? Or,
Right.
you know, I thought everybody did that. And that's when you actually start to make the unconscious conscious at that point too, to notice that there are different behaviors that we all possess and different things that we do. And I think that now we've just lost a lot of respect of how other people see things. And basically what you're speaking on right now. We need to be
And the
more.
great thing about this is also I knew you were an empath because as soon as intuitively, because I'm also an empath as well, and I could tell that you are the type of person, and I've never met you until today. This is the first time I've ever
Me
seen
either.
you,
Me
your
either.
face, right? But I can intuitively already pick up that you do not like conflict. It
I don't.
literally is painful to you. So it's no wonder that you want to do the mindful thing. You want to do the compassionate thing because it literally pains you.
It does. It
So
does.
bringing the unconscious or the subconscious into the conscious, being more mindful is really key. You know, it is so important.
It's simple. It could be simple for us, but I will notice the pain and the struggle when I see other people. Like it'll be a really simple answer. I'm like, well, maybe that's not like texting. I'm not a big texting fan because I don't know the context in which you're texting. Sometimes I don't know what type of mood you're in. I like to hear a person, or better yet, FaceTime me so I can see what's going on.
Right.
I mean, but that's just me. And I have friends that text a lot and they really get angry at me because I don't like to text back. But I don't want to text something and then you take it the wrong way, and that's not really how I meant it. And I
Well, a big
text
part
small
of that is
stories.
again being mindful with that too. Like I text a lot. I'm always using text or WhatsApp or BBM or something. I'm always doing that. However, if you or and by the way, hey Monty,
How you doing? Hi.
anybody coming in, if they just shoot me a text, now shooting me a text is one thing. Hey, how you doing? That's fine. But if they're going to give me a litany or a chapter, or they're going to put a novel into text, then you know what? Then it's like, okay, this, and anyone that's my friend knows this. I will say, in quotes, this is not a text conversation. Do you need to get together? Do you need to talk? So again, it's
Okay.
being mindful about what you do, how you do it. And that's where the power of intention comes in. Because if you have a better intention, you're not going to look at what someone is saying. You're going to say, you know what? I could be taking this out of context. Give me a call. This is what we got to do. So
I love
that's
it.
like, yeah, and
it.
it's really important. So, you know, I have to be. I'm grateful for the fact that there are more people out there in the world that are intuitive and are empaths and are mindful. And it's great that we have more people that actually think about their actions and think about how they impact the world. So I have to give you a lot of credit for that.
Thank you. And you as well. You have a brilliant mind. You really do.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It was like double dutch. I'm like, do I need to jump in? And then if he opens it, I'll jump in. Because when I first got on Bluff, I would not get on cam. I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. Like, because you don't know how you're going to come off. But you just have to do it again, like you said, with intention. You don't do it with the intention that you're going to be criticized or ridiculed. You do it with the intention that this is being recorded. So maybe 10 years from now, somebody may be able to gain access to this. And this could really change where they are in their life. You have to do it with that intention. And
That's
it
right.
will meet you. It
That's
will
right.
meet you. When it needs to be met, when someone needs to hear it, it will present itself. One of my friends always tell me that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that
And we're
applies
all
to everything.
students and we're
That's
all
right.
teachers.
That's
And
right.
that's key. That's the important part. We're all students and we're all teachers. And some of the best teachers that I've ever had, they learned from me and I learned from them. It was symbiotic.
Symbiotic. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is just awesome. You are like here. This is heavy.
Well, I'm glad you're loving it. I'm already following you too. So, and also too, I'll be bringing this up I bring it onto my YouTube channel as well as my website, and I can
Okay.
put my website in as well. And in the meantime, for that, let's bring Monty in because Monty's been so patient.
Yes, he has.
And Monty is an instigator. I'm going to use the word instigator because the word instigator is used sometimes in negative ways. He's a provoker, instigator, but it's a good instigation. He makes you think. He's one of those people that provoke thought. So, Monty, man, how's things?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Oh, pretty good.
Great.
Pretty good.
Wow, I feel like you guys are on such a higher level. I feel like wow, I don't know how does one like myself aspire to such a. I'm not an empath. I don't know. I don't have any certain title or anything.
One
like
step
that.
at a time. One step at a time, Monty.
Maybe one day.
Keep on walking forward.
Thanks. One thing that I'm not quite sure of. I was doing some studies on a person by the name of Lynn McTaggart. Does that name sound familiar at all?
It does sound familiar. It does sound familiar.
Okay, yeah, I may have brought it up before. Lynn McTaggart, as far as I can tell, she's one of the most foremost authorities on intention experiments. I think she really is known for taking the idea of intention and taking it out of the realm of intangibles, so to speak, and putting it into practice. Lynn McTaggart, she has a book called The Intention Experiment.
I see it. Okay, yeah, that's it.
And Lynn really, as far as I can tell, she really puts a major emphasis on trying to prove or disprove intentions.
Yes.
And according to her book and her lectures and such, she demonstrates, in my opinion, very effectively how when we focus individually or collectively on causing change, she seems to have proven through various experiments in the lab, for instance, whether or not there's any possibility of things actually changing. And again, right. the statistics seem to indicate that there are definitely provable results when we focus on causing certain things to change or for that matter, not change. What do you guys think about that idea?
Well, also, Wayne Dyer also has a book. It's called The Power of Intention. And
okay.
If you can catch it, I know I saw it on Channel 2. Well, Channel 2 here, it's the public channel. He was pretty awesome, and he has a whole video series, I think, on the power of intention in the book. But it's so important to kind of always trying to move forward, with what you want to do, and very similar to what Christina was saying with the story about the pot roast.
Exactly.
You know, it's like beliefs. Honestly, when you go ahead and continue, question yourself. See, I'm a big fan of questioning yourself and questioning authority. Why? And when I was a kid, I was 3 years old asking why. There were things that would come out of my mouth that I was 3, 4, 5 years old. You'd swear I was 80. And that was because my old soul was seeping through and asking questions. Yep. And I was curious. Be curious. Wonder. Ask questions. Because you know what? If you don't ask questions, you don't learn. There is no such thing.
Let me ask you a question. Now, when you refer to beliefs, which is something that, for instance, scientists and physicists and people in those particular fields, they have a very big problem with it because it typically implies that you don't have the evidence and you're not willing to do the work to prove out
because it's abstract.
Yeah, it's an abstract. We can all come up with abstracts.
Everything is not palpable. Everything is not see, hear, touch. Okay, for example, you look at a table, like my laptop is on a table.
Sure.
The only reason why that laptop is on the table is because the molecules are moving so slow that it is hard, right? Air, the vibration or the molecules are moving incredibly fast. Therefore, we can pass our hand through it. Now, which one is more real? Neither. They're both the same reality.
Right.
That's the whole point. So,
right.
So I cannot, and I come from the world of skeptics, being skeptical, because prior to going into my intuitive life, I wanted to be a scientist and an archaeologist. So I was very skeptical. But the choice was made as a young age that I was going to be a more spiritual person, a more abstract person. There's still that foundation There's
Okay.
still that foundation. I want answers, but profoundly, sometimes in finding answers, you just get more questions, and then you have to find the answers to those questions.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, we'll come to the realization that there is no ultimate knowledge. I guess what I was referring to specifically when I was trying to make a distinction between the beliefs that we have, and I think Christina pointed out very, very, very succinctly what happens when we don't question why those beliefs are handed down and why we're still practicing something 1,000 years later, not having any clue in terms
It's
of why.
all about looking at all the completely around. You want to look at something from all angles before you go ahead and make a decision. So now, Christina's not going to cut the ends off her pot roast.
Because the pot is typically going to be okay now that we know
She's
what
going
the
to make sure
original
she has a big
problem
enough
was.
pot. And she wants
Right.
the end. Sometimes the ends are like the best ones. So the best
Right.
parts of the pot roast is the end, right?
Yes.
So this is part of it. It's the fact of using your attention not to just mindlessly take things in, but to take things in, consider, kind of let them bounce around your brain, and then using intention and your own mind to say, I agree with this, I like this, I don't like this.
Okay, now you made a reference to what's his name, Dwyer?
Yes.
Now, and
Wayne
as
Dyer.
far what's his name again?
Wayne Dyer.
Dyer.
D-Y-E-R. I think it's D-Y-E-R.
Okay.
Maybe.
D-Y. Oh, Dyer. Okay.
Yeah, Dyer.
Probably
I
Dyer.
googled it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Dyer, does he put any emphasis on doing any experiments to show the power of intention?
Actually, he is a doctor as well.
Yeah, it's Dr. Wayne Dwyer. Yeah, W. Dyer.
Oh,
yeah.
W? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
He is really a very profound person. And again, you know what it is too? It's not just about, to me, being a prolific or an influencer, to me, it's got to be pretty big. But not just because a lot of people know you. Not because you have PhD after your name.
Exactly.
Not because you've made $1 billion.
Exactly.
To me, that's not what measures a person's greatness. So,
I agree.
Their intention,
I agree.
who they are, how they build themselves, the fact of just
right.
alone, the content and the topics that I bring up here is not for just my benefit. It's for the benefit of bringing the topic to conversation, to have people like yourselves, for us to talk about it.
Right. Well, the reason why I asked the question is because I want to know whether or not I want to know what contrasts something like a Dwyer to McTaggart, because there's a very good reason why I'm asking that specific question between the two of them. Right.
I have not actually compared them both, but I'm sure there's going to be some similarities between both of them.
Okay, let me just throw this out there.
Sure.
Now, when we have intentions, taking the beliefs to another level, where we actually concentrate and try to actively participate in figuring out the why, because that's my character as well. When I was going to school, I was the one student who 5 minutes after getting into the classroom, why are we approaching this manner and this topic in this manner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do computers behave the way they do after 5 minutes of being in the classroom? Everybody else was like, well, that's the way it is. I'm like, why? Okay.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with asking the
Right.
why, because this is exactly why.
Yeah, I understand that perfectly.
I'm bringing this topic in today because a lot of times people complain.
Oh, sure.
A lot of times people complain, things aren't going well in my life. Okay, why are they not going well? Now, the people that say they're not just not going well, but they're not doing anything to go that route.
Oh, yeah,
they're not doing anything to
Right.
help. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting there victims. Now, the person, now I can honestly say that life in my end isn't always great. As a matter of fact, it's been kind of crappy. But guess what? I can continuously say that I'm putting drive and intention to making it better every day, every moment, every minute, every breath. That's the important
Exactly.
part. So now I've got a gripe. I've got a reason. I've got a grievance because I'm getting all my stuff done and it's not happening. So now I'm like thinking, okay, why is it not happening? What am I missing? What's going on? It is exhausting to be mindful. It is exhausting to continue to having that intention going 24/7. It's not easy.
Well, what about this? What about this? Christina may be about to jump on this ahead of me. What about this? What if we condition ourselves to understand it's in our best interest to have that type of empathy? Because see, this is what it boils down to.
I agree.
We live on a big planet. Okay, me and you, we have our first world problems where, you know, whether or not blab loads or not is a major issue. But then there are some people on the other side of the planet. They're going to say, you know what, our major issue is whether we're going to feed our family or whether or not dad is going to come home this evening alive or something.
That's true.
So what I'm thinking is, what if we somehow naturally retuned ourselves so that I'm empathetic? Because believe it or not, women have this ability and it's more innate than them than men. But yeah, what if we lived in a world whereby I can sense your pain and you can sense my pain outside of all the technology? Would it not be possible? Because I think once upon a time before the smartphone, maybe we were.
Well,
right?
yeah, I agree. I think that we did. I think it's something that we lost. It's a lost ability. I think at some point we were all connected. But the technology was created to, I'm not getting on that subject, but I'm just
let's get on it. Let's get on it.
It's not gonna be a topic. That will be a topic.
That's a
in fact, what we're gonna do is,
that's like
let me elude to it real fast, and then we can get away from the complex matters.
Yeah.
Okay. What if we atrophied that particular sensory organ, if you will, to the point where now we're relying upon technology? I just want to throw that out there.
Right.
Now you can go on.
Now this is the thing. I think a big part of it is polarity. We're both
got it.
We're both yin and yang. We're both male and female. We have the polarity. As a matter of fact, before we become our identity in the womb, we are all female. Just throwing it out there. Sorry, guys. But we are all female until other parts happen.
Wow.
So that just goes to show that we are both polarities. So do I feel that, you know, a male could be just as nurturing as a female? Absolutely, if they are properly balanced. And I think that's the key. But now it's all about but conditioning and being mindful
does not make it so.
Right.
And the way the world is set up, it constantly reinforces that particular belief. It does. Like, we live in a masculine type world. This is my opinion. Like, everything's it's a lot. This is a long subject, guys. This is getting.
Well, you said masculine, and I'll add to that: masculine, left brain dominated. I don't mean to put you into a trance or anything, but in my opinion, masculine, left brain dominated culture. Hello? Thank you. Can you let her back?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
What happened?
Christina somehow disappeared. Let me mute my microphones again. 1 second.
Okay, but see, this is the thing, and this goes back. Oh, here we go. Now I'm getting an echo.
Whoops.
You guys hear an echo?
No, I got it. I took care of it.
Okay, thank God. So now my audio is off.
You're fine.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, I love how the topic is slamming and then the technology kind of goes awry. But that's my intention is to finish this and it'll be good, and then we can still talk after the recording is off. However, bringing this back to the power of intention, conditioning, belief, all of this is going to manipulate or condition our ability to do what we need to do. So if you're just going to take what everyone says and you're going to believe it as gospel, so be it. But if you're not asking any questions, you're not going to go any further. You're not going to learn anymore. You're not going to you're going to keep cutting the ends of your pot roasts. You're not going to get it in the pot. You're not going to do these kind of. And I love that story because I'm like the king of metaphors. Most of my friends are like, you know, Moon, you could like say the same story about 1 million different times with 1 million different aspects. But my point is made, though. It's a thing. So now, this is all part of it, and I'm grateful with the fact of bringing this topic in, with all of us talking about this, because the more we raise the energy to this topic, or being more mindful of things, we are better people.
Exactly.
I consider myself a global citizen. I don't consider myself just a U.S. citizen.
Exactly.
I agree.
Right.
If I am mindful and intentional about being respectful towards you, towards Christina, towards everybody in the room, that's going to make a big, huge difference in the world. That's going to be impactful.
Hey, there he is.
Aww,
all right.
How cute.
Awesome.
All right. Is our dressed up? Can you whistle?
So this is key. So this is important. So what we're going to do is just the quick, we're going to bring this to a close, but I'll still keep the room open. We're still going to go into the after hours.
Well, can we get an answer to this? Because I'm not quite sure I understand exactly. When you mentioned how hard it is for us to concentrate on being mindful,
yes.
Can we talk about why we have a problem staying in the here and now as compared to, you know, when I get to work or when I get up, or
that's easy.
Or these other things that we preoccupy our time. We're always living in some other place in the past, or we're projecting to the future. Why is it so hard for us to live in the here and now?
I can give you it. There's a quote. John Lennon said it really well. He said, "Life is what happens when you're busy making plans."
Oh,
that's right. That's right.
So if you're busy
you
making plans, then guess what? Life gets in the way. And when it gets in the way, then all of a sudden you find, whoa, wait a minute. I was supposed to work out today, and I went on blab instead.
Oh, okay.
So, or something like that, right? So now, also, Aliman also had a question I want to make sure that I answer. And it's saying here, are some of our intentions, are they unconscious? What role to unconscious intentions do they play? So now, a lot of things we do is unconscious. Well, it's mindless. It's mindless fodder. You know what I mean? We're just going through and just going whatever without really thinking about the impact of things. And I'm not going to say we should get paranoid. It's not about getting paranoid or being OCD about it. It's more or less. It's okay. It's more or less being mindful, being more mindful, and working with the conscious more than the subconscious. Don't be that balloon that's untethered. As long as you are tethered, you're going to find yourself knowing more or being able to achieve more. So having that grounding is key.
Okay.
So on that note, what we're going to do is we're going to close out the recording aspect of the show.
Right.
But we can still continue having this conversation. I'm loving this conversation. This is another insight with Moonshadow, the topic being the power of intention. I want to be, I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate and I'm grateful for all of you coming into the conversation. Despite a couple of tech issues and hiccups, as Cliff says. Welcome, Cliff. And but this is all these topics are important because what we're doing is we're bringing up the frequency, we're bringing up the acknowledgement, we're bringing up the mindset, and this is so important. So if we continue doing this, question yourself, question your authority, be a free thinker. Don't just take things blindly, because you know what, there are things that you may be learning that you're missing out on.
Oh, sure. I hope so. Right. If we go through one day without learning something new, then as far as I'm concerned, we may have wasted the entire day.
Exactly. So that being said, I am so grateful for everyone being here, and we'll have another topic next week, and it's always something to make you think. It's just all these little moon bites and these topics and these conversations mean so much, and they connect to my heart, mind, body, and soul, and I appreciate all of you. So I will see you next week. We're going to close out the recording, And thank you so much for being here.
Fantastic.